The market's changing, and I think it's super important that when you're interviewing an agent that you understand that agent really does know the market. So when you're talking to an agent and you found them online and you found, like me, and you found their qualifications and you think, oh, I'll interview them. They must know the market, and they're advertising themselves, or they're in the paper and they must know the market. So I thought about it and I thought, how do you really know if an agent understands the current market? I've heard agents say, well, I've been doing this for 30 years. Well, I can promise you that every market is completely different. They all have so many facets to them. I mean, in my career, I've been doing it 18 years. We've had some ups and downs, all caused by a myriad of different things that wouldn't prepare us for the market that came at us. Now, we knew that the market couldn't sustain itself in 2005 and 6, and it did ultimately crash, right? But what came out of that? 10, 11, and 12 started this trajectory of just a crazy amount of listings, a crazy amount of sales. 2013 was one of my biggest volume years ever. Then 14 and 15 still doing well, kind of meandered along. 18 I don't think it was like one of the best years. I think it was actually a little bit slower, but then 19 started to creep up, and then we had COVID, and it was just so busy. I couldn't even catch a breath. I worked from like 7 a.m. till almost 10 or 11 at night each night because there was just so much going on. I couldn't keep up, and I didn't know that was coming, and I couldn't really describe it when I was in it. So that was a different market. We literally wake up to a new market each day. So if someone just says, oh, well, I've been in the business 30 years, I just don't really think that's a good indication that they are prepared for everything that comes at us in terms of the economy and natural disasters or, pandemics. So one of the questions I would ask them if they were, I'm a listing agent, do they work with buyers? No, I'm a listing agent. Okay. Do you have a sense of what the buyers are thinking about and looking at? Because right now, in June of 2022, I believe that we're going to start seeing more of a buyer's market. So are you prepared to really answer some of the buyer requests and some of the things that the buyers are looking for? How do they know the market's changing? Well, that was a question I would ask. Like, we know the market's changing, but how do you know? What are the indicators? Well, I watch a few different indicators. One of them is days on market. The other is pending cancels, price reductions. Listen to feedback from open houses. Do open houses actually get, in the market? And then when you're actually talking to the buyers out there, they're going to start giving you their feedback. Networking with other agents. Do you ever talk with other agents and what they're seeing, especially in their local office? So for instance, I would be talking to the agents in my company. I'm not going to be taking any advice from agents from San Jose or Los Angeles or San Francisco. I know agents all across the country, and their markets are all crazy different. Some of them are seeing price reductions right now. Things are being slashed. Their market's actually just kind of, just going down. Other ones are more like us. We're just like, well, we're seeing some changes, but we're not really seeing the bust or, the burst as the news is describing is coming our way. So what are they doing to actually educate themselves on the market, like right this minute? I have experts I listen to, but I also really try to tune in to the local agents. I go on broker tours so I can hear what the actual boots on the ground are actually talking about. And then I would ask them, how did they adjust to past shifts in the market? Now, for myself, I would tell you I've worked in every market. And when there was a real just short sales and downfall in the market, and I didn't have any business, I went and worked for another real estate agent and kept my chops sharp. And I became busy again and could no longer work for her. But we were doing up to 30 escrows a month. So what I would ask is, what do they do in the shift? Do they hide? Do they, well, I was a little slow during those times. Well, how did you keep your skills up? How did you learn the new market that was emerging out of that market? Because here's the thing to understand about markets. It's such a weird thing. I always kind of think of it as kind of like a gel glob that just kind of comes down and kind of globs all over us, and then we just kind of try to figure out how to get around it. Is that a weird analogy? I'm so sorry. But anyway, that's just the thing. I mean, you can't put your arms around the market. You can't touch it. You can't feel it, but it's just kind of omnipresent and all over. And one of the ways to really get a grasp on the current market is to make sure that you're staying completely relevant to what's going on. And so maybe you don't have any listings. Maybe you don't have any buyers. Well, that's okay. I mean, I've certainly had those periods, but I was on my office meeting. I was on my broker tour meeting. That's where all the agents that come together in the county. And I was trying to keep my finger on the pulse by listening to what was going on to make sure I understood once I got a listing to know what market I was in. You know, you might have a realtor that you just love and they're going to do a good job and they're going to get you your highest and best price seller, or you have a buyer that, you know, you trust that realtor and you just think that that's the one for you, then choose them, and that's okay. But I know some people are really conscious to making sure that they hire a realtor that understands the market. Well, understand that you need to hire an agent that understands the market today. So please subscribe, share, like, and comment. I'd love to hear from you, or just reach out to me and we can have a discussion about the current market. Thanks. Bye.